Alright, well I thought I'd make a quick review sorta kind of video about my Harbor Freight tools and what I think about them and all that good stuff, because 90% of all my tools are Harbor Freight. So I bought this toolbox, oh I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago probably now, and I had a Napa one and the same kind of version of this one, and the Napa one was like $600, $500, $600, something like that, and it was a good toolbox. I had no complaints. And this one here was like $130 or something. But the only thing I can tell you about this one versus the Napa one is this one here is definitely a little bit thinner, a little bit more flimsy, but overall for what it is and for what I do, it's fine for me. I mean, I'm not going to complain about it too much. It rolls around and holds all the tools I have. Most all the sockets I have are Harbor Freight sockets. I got a couple other CarQuest brand sockets, but all the impacts are Harbor Freight, and I've had people tell me that they have some Harbor Freight ones and they crack the impact ones, but I've got a 1/2-inch drive air impact, and I've never cracked one, but as you can tell, I've lost them. So, screwdrivers from Harbor Freight, they're okay, but they break pretty easy if you hit them with a hammer. So I always buy a couple sets of screwdrivers and just have them on hand, because I either lose them or break them. So, and then the wrenches are kind of a mix between Harbor Freight and other brands, but I got them all kind of in their own particular order. These red magnetic wrench things, I know they're for the drawers, but I actually went and notched them all out in a higher, deep, kind of a more of an angle, so I could actually stick my magnet things on the lid there and keep my wrenches there, because this is my main toolbox. So got the 2 or 3 foot breaker bar, keep all my extensions and 1/2-inch drive ratchet all in here, and then I just keep my pry bars back there in the corner, and my really long screwdrivers, I keep them there, and a couple walker bars or seal pullers, whatever you want to call them. And then I just keep all my sockets and spark plug sockets and everything just in the top here. I will say the drawer is open really nice on this for what it is. This drawer I just keep my bigger wrenches and hammer and my little Milwaukee impact and my Harbor Freight torque wrench, which as far as I know does good. I've never had issues. I think that's a Harbor Freight big torque wrench also, and keep my little picks in there. But for someone like me where my profession isn't mechanicking, these Harbor Freight tools are just fine, and I'm notorious for losing sockets and tools, so they're super cheap. I can just go buy them and replace them, and it's not a big loss to me spending a bunch of money on some Snap-on or something. But for what I've got into that toolbox is probably $500 or so. I mean, that's including all the pullers and everything I got down there. And like I said, 90% of it's all Harbor Freight stuff, so it's worked fine for me. I bought this rolling top table kind of around the same time as I bought the other toolbox, and it's fine for what it is. I mean, it's pretty small, and that's the reason I bought it. I think this is only like 20 inches or something. I mean, it's kind of narrow, but for the amount of space I have in my garage, it's fine for me. I had another Harbor Freight vise, and nothing actually broke on it, but I had a different workbench, and I had that vise mounted to it, and I actually gave that workbench and everything to my dad, and I just left that vise on there for him, told him he could have it, and so I bought this vise and one day I'll get around to actually mounting it on there. I don't remember where this drill press came from, but either Walmart or Harbor Freight, but for as much as I do, it's fine for me. I haven't had any issues with it, and that's obviously not a Harbor Freight welder. It's probably the most expensive thing I got in here. I bought this engine stand a couple of weeks ago for putting one of the LS motors on, and you know, it was $60, I think. It definitely wasn't that 3-wheel design one. I didn't want the motor to fall over, so I got the little bit bigger one, but definitely wasn't the most expensive one at Harbor Freight, but it was like the medium one. But you know, for what I'm doing, it's fine. And I've had this cherry picker engine hoist, and I've had to have this thing for 3 years or so, and I've never had a single problem with it. My biggest complaint about it is these pins up front here. You know, you have to kind of lift the hole when you fold the legs down. You have to kind of lift it all up and work your pin in there. It doesn't level out to where the holes are lined up or something. But you know, even at that complaint there, it's been really good. I've never had an issue with it, you know, losing pressure overnight or not going up or anything. So it's, for what I paid, probably only a couple $100 for it. It's been a really good engine hoist, so I'm definitely not going to complain about it. But no, that's pretty much a wrap on all the tools that I own. Oh, and I got my Harbor Freight shop lights or laundry lights, whatever they want to call them. And those actually work really good. Those are probably my favorite thing. And the welding helmet, you know, it was like $50 or something, and I probably won't go blind. I guess I can tell you that much. I really do like the setting for grinding, and so you can actually grind and see what you're doing, or you can turn it to whatever darkness you want. But it's been pretty good for me. I'm not going to complain. My other helmet's actually in that box, and it finally quit auto tinting, so that's fine. I don't even know where I got that one or how much I paid for it, but it probably wasn't much. And back behind the AMX back there is a compressor, but it's not a Harbor Freight. I think it's an old Craftsman or something. It's probably on its last leg. So, but oddly enough, somebody on Instagram kind of asked me about my tools. You know, why I just have Harbor Freight, and you know, honestly, it's because there's not really too many other places I can go get tools. I don't even know if we have a Sears anymore or not. I think they went out or got bought out or something. We used to have a Kmart that sold some tools, but they went out of business, and our Walmart really doesn't carry anything for tools. So Harbor Freight opened up here recently, just a couple of years ago. So, you know, before that I had to drive all the way to Billings, Montana to go get tools from Harbor Freight, and that's about 150 miles from here. But they finally opened one up in town, and so that's made my life a little bit better. But yeah, for somebody who's just doing it yourself and just piddling around on some projects in your own garage, and you're not relying on your tools to make your paycheck and your living, I think Harbor Freight tools are more than fine, and are definitely the way to go, especially for someone who's super cheap like I am. So anyways, I thought I'd just make this quick little video, since oddly enough couple people asked on Instagram about it, and you know, I guess that's my take on Harbor Freight and my tools in my garage. We'll see you next time. I almost forgot, my Harbor Freight welding cart is pretty good too, and my Harbor Freight lights are, you know, okay. You can already see I have a pair of vice grips holding them on there, and one of the lamps is actually burned out, and it's not the bulb, it's the little wiring pack got super hot and melted. And then I forgot about my jack. I've had that a long time too, and other than that bolt's missing, and the little padding thing they stick on there to keep you from damaging your car disintegrated. I've had good luck with it, and I've never had any other problems with it other than those two little issues with it. And I had a pretty expensive $400 brand one. I don't remember exactly what brand it was, but it was expensive, and the frame actually got bent on it. And then it wouldn't lift car. When it'd lift cars, the wheels would come off, and it was really unstable. But this one so far hasn't done that. It's super heavy though, I can tell you that much. And I'm gonna frown the day I drop it on my toe. But anyways, I forgot about those, so see you next time.